Hey guys, Q here, and this is a video on how to defeat the Arsenal in Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard mode. Something I left this video fully intact with no speed ups. As with a lot of the later bosses, it's not hard, it can be just a little bit complicated. So I would actually suggest pausing the video in between each phase of your fight to see what comes next. That should make it a lot easier to follow instead of switching up your strategy every phase. But the main strategy is going to be hiding behind a pillar. I hope you saved some magic with Aerith. Barret, we're going to give him a melee build with Big Bertha, and Aerith obviously a magic build with the Mithril Rod. Go ahead and give them both Fury Rings, but we want to make sure Aerith doesn't die, so give her that Chain Bangle. The strategy is pretty simple, but just little things here and there that you got to do. For Barret, we're going to go give him an elemental and fire materia in his weapon slot, little extra damage, steadfast block and prayer. HP ups, obviously 2 HP ups. We actually gave him a magnified, we're going to give him a healing materia just in case he might emergency healing. And then a lightning materia. You want to make sure he has 2 magics just like Aerith, slightly different, and hopefully you'll see why later. And we're also going to give him a magnified time materia. During the 3rd phase, it's nice to have that haste on to make sure that you have the ATB when you need it. For Aerith, you're going to have elemental and wind. The reason we're using wind is because it can't be blocked by the pillar. Fire can be blocked, wind cannot. So we're going to use wind. And he doesn't move too much. You should be able to hit him with that wind just fine, or ice. Steadfast block materia, prayer materia. I don't know if ice can be blocked actually. 2 HP up materias, naturally. We're going to give her MP absorption materia and a lightning materia. And that's going to help make sure you have enough MP to go through the whole fight. And of course, 2 MP up materias. Now, if you have full magic, you can go ahead and switch out one of the MP up materials with a magic up. You shouldn't need a ton, but it's been a long road to this point. So you might not be full on magic with Aerith. Also, make sure you have Ifrit and Shiva, just in case you do get in a hairy spot. You can always summon one of those. The larger ones won't summon. Alright, so to start out, you're going to be Barret. Go ahead and hide behind this debris to avoid that first attack, and then run behind this pillar. Now you're going to see, I'm going to explain what I'm doing here in a second, but what we're looking for is the laser. Right there. As soon as you see, so you're basically going to go back and forth behind the pillar. During this entire first phase, he is stationary. So we're going to use this phase to gain ATB. You can also use this limit break for Barret. You can also use this phase to gain more MP if you're low, because you used it all during the last battles. But you see how I'm running back and forth. You don't want to be standing in the middle. You want to be either right up against the pillar or all the way back to make sure you can dodge that laser. Also, make sure you're dodging that voltaic charge. And we're going to use Aerith's, while we're not controlling her, we're going to use Aerith's Ray of Judgment on Barrier Drone A. Barrier Drone A is the one that stays behind him. So that's the one you want to have her target when you're not in controlling her. Now again, if you want to make this phase last longer to regain some MP, go ahead and just not take out any of the drones. The realistic thing is we're using this to gain, there's that voltaic discharge again. Make sure to avoid that, but we're using this phase to see the laser in the front, so he's moving to the back to gain limit break. And then of course I'm basically just peeking out on the right side of the pillar and blocking the Arsenal's attacks. to gain that limit break. You can do the same thing with Aerith, can help later in the fight, but I didn't do that for this video, just to cut it down a little shorter. Again, when Aerith's ATBs come up, you can have her use Pray to heal Barret or Aerith, but this is pretty simple. We're just using this first phase to get Barret's limit break and have Aerith attack Barrier Drone A as an alpha. And you see that laser drop down, so we move out of the way. It's pretty simple. Eventually, Red 13 can actually take out all of the drones himself if after enough time. Well, we're gonna help him out here a bit. Go, waiting for. Give me that saturation. No, not the secondary fire. Come on, there we go. Saturation fire. And make sure you're blocking, of course. Also, he may use homing laser. You do want to block the homing laser as well. But we just need one more. It's like, oh, come on. Not the voltaic discharge. We do want to get out of there. We'll go ahead and use Pray to heal everyone up. There we go. So now that we've got Barret's limit break charged, I took a few seconds to actually destroy that Barrier Drone A, but we're going to do the same thing with Aerith, except we're not charging the limit break. You see that homing laser? Make sure you're blocking the homing laser because some of them can get through. But again, make sure you're not standing in the middle between the pillar and the wall. Stand either right next to the pillar or right next to the wall, and then you can use Aerith's Tempest ability to take out the drones. You can get 3 out usually within each 10 seconds that laser is timed. And I think I did a not fully charged one there, but there we go. We should be okay. And homing laser, make sure you block that. So basically, we're just we're just making sure that we're just taking out the drones. Once we take out all 3 drones, he will move into the second phase, and that's where the fun begins. So first phase, use it to gain MP if you need it, but gain Barret's limit break, which will help. Not entirely necessary, but will help with the 4th phase. There we go. Again, just waiting for that laser and then getting some more attacks off here. There we go. So now on the second phase, he does move around a bit, but the strategy is basically the same. But now we're actually going to start doing some damage. Now, the arsenal changes his weakness. So if he can become immune, or virtually immune, to all elements and physical damage. You see fire defense protocol there? So he's immune to fire. So what you're going to do is be on the opposite corner of the pillar and use an an arcane ward. Check his weakness. He's weak to fire, so we're going to be using lightning. That's going to get some MP up, and it's going to be doing the damage. And I worked the numbers and worked with the different attacks. What we're going to do is that we want to pressure him and then take out the wheels. So once we have both ATB charges as Aerith, we're going to cast a double thunder technically on Arsenal, and then a double Thundaga on one of the wheels. Now that'll take out one wheel and knock out half of the HP of another wheel. Again, just make sure that we're checking his weaknesses. He's weak to fire, so again we're using thunder. When he becomes immune to thunder, then we're going to be using wind. And if he's immune to physical, it doesn't matter either way. Now Barret can help out with this, but you wanna make sure you try and give it all to Aerith, so that we can make sure that we're taking out those wheels. So we got that double thunder, and he's pressured. At that point, the wheels become susceptible, so we're going to be doing the double Thundaga on one of the wheels. So we got takes out one wheel, and then damages the other wheel. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. And then we're going to do the same thing. Stand back, keeping the pillar between you and the arsenal so that the laser doesn't get, cover the arcane ward. But that's basically all you need to do is just stand back, wait for those ATB charges, and then move up to the arcane ward to do the same exact thing again. Right now he's weak to lightning, so we're going to be using wind. But the same thing, arrow on the arsenal to get him pressured, and then Aroga to take out more wheels. There we go, and he even got a stagger, and you could damage him more. I would actually suggest, I just don't have the ATBs. I should have used Maximum Fury with Barrett, but I've been keeping his ATBs as a healer to show you how this plays out. See, now he's, so Obliterating Laser is a fun one, but that's actually not the one you need to worry about. Obliterating Laser is basically a souped up homing laser. So you want to make sure to block it, which I did not, so it's a good thing I saved those healing ATBs. I think I was just having a brain fart. I'm like, Obliterating Laser, what is that? Well, that's what it is. Luckily, Barrett had that prey, and I think I'm going to have him cure as well, because I didn't block and I should have. But again, just stand back with the pillar between you and him. If he charges, if he moves position, you can just correct. Right now he's immune to wind, so we're going to be doing the same strategy except with thunder again. So thunder, there we go. So we got phase 3. And we even got the summon. We're not going to use it, but you can use the summon in phase 3 if you want. Phase 3 is the hardest. And it's going to be the same strategy, but there is a key difference. So for phase 3, run behind and again on the corner and use an arcane ward. And you generally don't want to launch your attack until he's about to use a different attack. There's a certain attack you need to interrupt. You see, I wasn't standing back, and now the laser is covering my ATB ward, so I'm like, oh, I hope this isn't now. But that's one of the reasons why we had Barrett have some magic as well. And this is the phase where you want to potentially give, here we go, Pulse Cannon. Potentially give haste. When he uses Pulse Cannon, check his weakness and make sure to use that double magic to interrupt his Pulse Cannon. I think I used Dara's here just to be sure. No, just Thunder. But it's effectively the same as phase 2. You see both of those attacks got him pressured and interrupted the attack, and I'm going to work on taking out the rest of those wheels. I don't even know if taking out the wheels helps anything, but it seems to. Maybe it just works on his stagger gauge a lot more. I got a little more attacks off, but that's the strategy. Waiting until that Pulse Cannon, Pulse Cannon, was that what it was called? And then, so right now he's physical defense, but waiting for that Pulse Cannon charge to do your attacks to make sure that you have enough ATB to interrupt it. So it helps to have people hasted just in case, but you want to be a little stingy with your ATBs so that he can't destroy this pillar, because once he destroys this pillar, all hell breaks loose. And then you're running around, and eventually, there we go, Pulse Cannon. So we're going to interrupt him again. He's immune to physical. So we're going to be using the same strategy with Thunder, and I think we're going to take out all 4 wheels at this point. There we go. And then I think I was trying to, I'm like, where's his wheels? I guess I already took out his wheels, so I should have just hit him again while he was pressured, to be honest. But if you let him get that pulse cannon off, he'll destroy the pillar, and then all of the other debris in the arena he can destroy, and eventually you'll have no cover anymore. So now, since I already took out both the wheels, and I'm keeping one ATB to spare at always, just in case he uses that pulse cannon, I have the ATB, the one ATB charge ready. So right now he's using lightning defense protocol, and I didn't realize it. So what you're going to see is a little panic mode, but great. I like when things go wrong because I can show you what to do even when they go wrong. Saturation fire again, just keep the pillar between you and him. I'm repositioning an arcane ward. Oh, pulse cannon right there. So I used thunder without checking, and it didn't pressure him and didn't interrupt his pulse cannon. I'm like, oh crap. Okay, use Barret. Barret's got those 2 ATBs. And I just had him use Thundaga? No. Okay, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Strategy is simple, just minor corrections. And one more Barret. There we go, got him interrupted. So like that was a little bit of panic mode right there because I had accidentally used Thunder when he was resistant to Thunder. But again, the phase 3, as long as you interrupt that pulse cannon, you can use this virtually the same strategy as phase 2. Just make sure you're standing back for when that laser comes down there, so that it's not covering your arcane ward. And since I have 2 ATB charges, I'm just going to use one of them to pressure and do a little damage. And so this is the last phase. Phase 4 is pretty simple. You just go ham. Now, at this point, you want to use Barret's overdrive. Unfortunately, he is resistant to physical damage right now. So Barret's overdrive limit break is not going to do the damage it should, but that's okay. You can still make up for it with magic. Hopefully, he won't be physically resistant when you do it, and it'll just basically take him out. But you can see. Not enough damage, but I'm in my arcane ward and I've got MP. I'm just doubling Thundagas, and this phase is 45 seconds, but pretty simple once I found this strategy, because he has a lot of different attacks and a lot of different ways to beat him. So again, phase 1, really simple. For all the phases, make sure that you're just moving back and forth behind a pillar to avoid that laser attack, and it stays for 10 seconds. For phase 1, you want to make sure that you're going to charge Barret's limit break by just defending attacks and using prey, and having Aerith take out Drone A. The reason he take out Drone A is because he's the one who stays behind the boss and it's harder to hit. Aerith's our damage dealer on this one. For phase 2, it's a very similar thing. Just stand behind the pillar and put an arcane... to take out the rest of the drones, use Tempest with Aerith to take out the other drones. For phase 2, stand at the corner of the pillar that you're hiding behind and use an arcane ward. At that point, you're going to want to make sure to check his weakness before each one, but use whatever one he's not resistant to. You're going to use the level 1 attacks such as Thunder or Arrow to take out, to put him into a pressured state, and then the Agas to take out the wheels, and just continue to do that through phase 2. Phase 3 is very similar, but you don't want to do the same as phase 2 until he uses that pulse cannon. You want to make sure you always have one ATB charge available. So wait till he uses pulse cannon, then the double thunder, then the Thundagas until all the wheels are gone. And at that point, you can start doing some optional damage, because you can just hit him with the double thunders without having him hit him with the double thunders while still having an ATB charge when he uses that pulse cannon. Just make sure you take out that pulse cannon. interrupt that pulse cannon, and that's why Barrett has the magic as well. And you can also have Barrett use haste on the third phase just to make sure you have those ATBs. In the last phase, just do whatever you can with the Barrett's limit break and the magic. All right, got a hard time coming up on the next bosses with the Harbingers and the Sephiroths. So wish me luck. I hope I get something good for you. Until next time, I'm the Strategic Gamer, and I hope it helps.